Every single day, millions of people unwrap a Feastables chocolate bar without ever wondering what actually happens before it reaches their hands. Because here's what most people don't know. That chocolate bar didn't come from some small kitchen operation. It came from a factory system so precise, so calculated, that even the temperature of the air around the chocolate is controlled to the decimal. And the numbers behind it, they'll make your head spin. Within just a few months of launching, Feastables crossed over 10 million chocolate bars sold. 10 million. That's not a brand, that's a machine. But the real question is, how does it actually work? How does raw cocoa transform into one of the fastest-selling chocolate brands in the world? That's exactly what we're breaking open today. Welcome to Infusions and Elements, where we go inside the factories that make the world's most iconic products. The brand that broke the internet. Most chocolate brands take decades to build. Hershey's took over a century. Cadbury has been around since 1824, and then MrBeast launched Feastables in January 2022 and sold out within hours. Not days, hours. But here's what people don't talk about. The success of Feastables isn't just about YouTube fame, it's about what happens inside the factory. It's about a production process designed not just to make chocolate, but to make chocolate at scale, with consistent quality, at a speed most small brands can't even dream of. So let's go inside. Let's follow a single Feastables chocolate bar, from raw ingredient to your hands, because every step of this process is more fascinating than the last. Stage 1. Where it all begins, the cocoa bean. Before the machines even turn on, before a single wrapper is printed, it all starts with a seed. The cacao bean. Feastables uses real cacao in its chocolate. That might sound obvious, but it's not. A lot of mass-market chocolate is loaded with so many fillers, artificial flavors, and palm oils that the actual cacao content becomes almost irrelevant. Feastables made a different choice early on. Fewer ingredients, higher quality. The cacao beans are harvested from tropical regions, places like West Africa, South America, and Southeast Asia, where the climate is perfect for growing the Theobroma cacao tree. And here's something wild. The cacao tree is one of the most delicate fruit trees on Earth. It can only grow within 20 degrees of the equator, too far north or south, and the entire crop fails. Once harvested, the cacao pods are cracked open by hand or machine, and inside are the wet, pulp-covered beans. These beans then go through a fermentation process that lasts anywhere from 5 to 7 days. That fermentation isn't optional. It's what creates the complex flavor compounds that make chocolate taste like chocolate. After fermentation, the beans are dried, either under the sun or in industrial dryers, and then sorted, graded, and shipped to processing facilities. By the time those beans arrive at the factory, they've already traveled thousands of miles. And the real transformation? It hasn't even started yet. Stage 2. Roasting the moment flavor is born. When cacao beans first arrive at the factory, they don't smell like chocolate. They smell earthy, slightly acidic, almost like mushrooms. That changes the moment they go into the roaster. Industrial roasting machines, some capable of processing hundreds of kilograms per hour, apply precise heat to the beans. The temperature, the duration, the airflow. Every variable is dialed in with obsessive precision. This is called the Maillard reaction, the same chemical process that makes bread golden, steak caramelized, and coffee aromatic. In cacao beans, it unlocks the deep, rich chocolate flavor compounds hidden inside. The difference between under-roasting and over-roasting is a matter of seconds. Under-roast, and the chocolate tastes flat and sour. Over-roast, and it turns bitter, almost burnt. The machines are calibrated to hit the exact window in between. After roasting, the beans move into a machine called a winnower. This device cracks the outer shell of the bean, called the husk, and separates it from the inner nib. It's essentially a giant fan combined with a cracker. The husks get blown away. The nibs, small, crunchy, intensely flavored cocoa fragments, are what move forward. These nibs are the soul of every single Feastables bar. Stage 3. Grinding, turning solid into liquid. Here's where the process starts to feel almost unbelievable. The cocoa nibs are fed into a grinding machine called a mélangeur. or in industrial settings, a series of stone mills and refiners. The nibs are ground so fine, so relentlessly, that the cell walls of the cocoa bean actually break down. And when those cells break, cocoa butter is released. The solid nib becomes a liquid, a thick, dark, intensely flavored liquid called cocoa liquor, or chocolate mass. Now at this stage, this liquor is pure, unsweetened, unblended, just raw cacao in liquid form. The grinding process in a commercial factory runs continuously, sometimes for hours. Some refining machines work at particle sizes of 20 microns or less. To put that in perspective, a single human hair is about 70 microns wide. The chocolate is being ground to less than a third of that. That's what creates that silky smooth, melt-on-your-tongue texture that separates premium chocolate from the cheap stuff. Stage 4. Mixing, building the recipe. Now comes the blending stage. This is where Feastables becomes Feastables. The cocoa liquor gets combined with other key ingredients, cacao butter, sugar, milk solids if it's milk chocolate, according to a proprietary recipe. The ratios matter enormously. Too much sugar and you lose the chocolate character. Too little cacao butter and the texture becomes gritty, heavy. Everything is fed into large industrial mixers, machines the size of small rooms, that blend the ingredients into a uniform chocolate paste. And then that paste goes into the conching. The conching is one of the most important machines in chocolate manufacturing. It was invented in 1879 by Rodolphe Lindt. Yes, the same Lindt. And it completely revolutionized chocolate. Before the conching, chocolate was grainy and harsh. After it, chocolate became smooth, complex, and melt-worthy. A modern industrial conching can process thousands of kilograms at once. It continuously folds, kneads, and aerates the chocolate, sometimes for 12 to 72 hours depending on the desired flavor profile. During this time, volatile acids evaporate. The flavor mellows and deepens. The texture becomes luxurious. This is where the chocolate really becomes something worth eating. Stage 5. Tempering. The science of the perfect snap. If you've ever broken a chocolate bar and heard that clean, sharp snap, that's not an accident. That's science. Specifically, it's called tempering. Chocolate contains cocoa butter, and cocoa butter can crystallize in 6 different forms. Only one of those crystal forms, called Form 5, gives chocolate that glossy finish, that satisfying snap, and that smooth melt. To achieve it, the chocolate has to go through a very specific temperature cycle. It's heated to around 45 to 50 degrees Celsius to melt all existing crystals, then cooled to around 27 degrees Celsius to encourage the formation of Form 5 crystals, then brought back up to around 31 to 32 degrees Celsius to eliminate any unstable crystals that formed. In a factory, this is done by continuous tempering machines, massive pieces of equipment that run the chocolate through these temperature stages automatically. These machines work faster than any human hand could possibly manage, and the margin for error? Almost zero. If the chocolate goes even a few degrees off, you get bloom. That's the white, dusty coating you sometimes see on old or improperly stored chocolate. It's not harmful, but it's the enemy of quality control. Feastables, like every serious chocolate manufacturer, runs strict checks at this stage. And if you've been watching until this point, you already know more about chocolate production than most people ever will. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. There's a lot more factory content coming that you won't want to miss. Stage 6, molding, taking shape. Once the chocolate is perfectly tempered, it moves to the molding line. This is the stage where the chocolate actually becomes a bar. Liquid chocolate is deposited into molds at high speed. Modern chocolate depositing machines can fill thousands of molds per hour. The molds travel on a conveyor through a vibration table, a platform that shakes rapidly to remove any air bubbles trapped in the chocolate. Then the molds enter a cooling tunnel. The temperature inside the tunnel drops the chocolate rapidly and evenly, allowing those Form 5 crystals to lock in and set the structure of the bar permanently. The cooling tunnels in large factories can stretch for 20 to 30 meters. The chocolate travels through at a controlled speed, long enough to set perfectly, fast enough to keep the production line moving. When the molds exit the cooling tunnel, the bars are released. Because the chocolate contracts slightly as it sets, it naturally pulls away from the mold walls. The bars pop out clean, glossy, firm, perfect. Stage 7. Packaging, the final frontier. The packaging stage is where speed becomes almost surreal. Industrial wrapping machines can package hundreds of bars per minute. The bars are fed onto high-speed conveyor lines. They're wrapped in foil or film, labels are applied, and they're sealed, all in a matter of seconds. Quality control cameras scan every bar as it moves through. Weight sensors verify each bar meets the exact gram requirement. Any bar that falls outside the parameters, even slightly, gets automatically ejected from the line. The accepted bars move forward into case packing, grouped into boxes, sealed, and palletized. From there, pallets go into temperature-controlled storage, because even finished chocolate is sensitive to heat and humidity. And then it ships. From warehouse to distribution center. From distribution center to retailer. From retailer to the shelf in front of you. That entire journey, from raw cacao bean to finished bar, involves dozens of machines, hundreds of quality checks, and thousands of tiny decisions. All so you can tear open a wrapper in 3 seconds without thinking twice. What you just witnessed. That chocolate bar sitting in your hand right now, it passed through roasters, grinders, conches, tempering machines, molds, cooling tunnels, and packaging lines before it ever touched your fingers. It crossed oceans as a raw seed. It was transformed by heat, pressure, chemistry, and precision engineering. And it arrived on a shelf looking effortless, because that's what great manufacturing does. It hides the complexity. It makes the extraordinary look ordinary. Feastables isn't just a YouTube brand that got lucky. It's a product backed by real food science, real factory infrastructure, and a production process that can deliver millions of bars without compromising on quality. And now, you've seen what most people never think to look for. If this is the kind of content that makes you see everyday products differently, then you're exactly in the right place. Subscribe to Infusions and Elements, because every week we go inside the machines, the factories, and the processes that make the world's most iconic products, and we show you what's really happening behind the label. The next one might just change the way you look at everything in your kitchen. Hit subscribe, you don't want to miss it.